Before you marry anyone, I want you to pause and imagine something. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. The wedding day is over. The beautiful photos have faded into memories. The excitement has settled, and you wake up beside the person you chose. In that quiet moment, when nobody else is watching, will your heart feel safe? Will your home feel peaceful? Will this person bring you closer to Allah, or slowly pull you away from Him? Because the truth is, the person you marry will influence almost everything in your life. Your peace, your faith, your character, your future children, even the kind of person you become. And some people spend years thanking Allah for the spouse they chose, while others spend years wishing they had paid attention to the signs they ignored. Marriage is not just about finding someone you love. It is about choosing the person who will walk with you through every test, every hardship, every blessing, and ultimately toward Jannah. So before you give someone your heart, before you say yes to a future that cannot easily be undone, stay with me until the end, because these 6 truths may protect you from years of regret and help you recognize the kind of spouse Allah truly wants for you. And the final lesson might be the one that changes the way you look at marriage forever. Before you fall in love, ask yourself one question: do they bring you peace? One of the biggest mistakes people make before marriage is confusing excitement with peace. And honestly, it happens to almost everyone. When you meet someone you like, everything feels different. Suddenly, they are on your mind when you wake up. You wonder if they have messaged you. You smile when you see their name appear on your phone. Simple conversations now start feeling special. You replay their words in your mind. You begin imagining what life would be like with them. And before you realize it, your heart starts becoming attached. At first, this feels beautiful. It feels exciting. It feels like something important is happening. But this is where many people make a mistake. They assume that because their feelings are strong, the relationship must be right. But strong feelings are not always a sign from Allah. Sometimes strong feelings are simply emotions. Sometimes they are loneliness. Sometimes they are attachment. And sometimes they are fear of losing someone. That is why before you think about marriage, before you think about a future together, before you allow your heart to become deeply attached, you need to ask yourself one important question. Does this person bring me peace? Not excitement, not butterflies, not temporary happiness. Peace. Because peace and excitement are not the same thing. Excitement can make your heart race. Peace makes your heart rest. Excitement can keep you awake all night thinking. Peace allows you to sleep without worry. Excitement can make you emotional. Peace makes you feel secure. And security is one of the greatest gifts Allah can place inside a relationship. Think about it. How many people spend years chasing someone who constantly confuses them? One day they feel loved. The next day they feel ignored. One day they feel important. The next they feel forgotten. One day they are full of hope. The next day they are full of anxiety. And because their emotions keep rising and falling, they mistake that emotional roller coaster for love. But love should not constantly leave you exhausted. Love should not leave you questioning your worth every day. Love should not make you feel like you are fighting for basic respect. Real peace feels different. Real peace feels calm. Real peace feels stable. Real peace does not force you to overthink every conversation. It does not force you to analyze every message. It does not force you to spend every day wondering where you stand. When Allah places goodness in something, there is often a feeling of tranquility that comes with it. A feeling that your heart is safe. A feeling that your soul is not constantly under pressure. A feeling that this person is helping you become better, not making your life more complicated. Unfortunately, many people ignore this. They become so focused on attraction that they stop paying attention to what is happening inside their hearts. They notice how good someone looks. They notice how charming they are. They notice how strongly they feel about them. But they never stop to ask, how does this person affect my peace? Because someone can be attractive and still be wrong for you. Someone can make your heart race and still not be good for your future. Someone can make you feel wanted and still not be the person Allah wants for your life. Marriage is not just about finding someone who makes you feel something. Marriage is about finding someone you can build a life with. Someone who remains kind when life becomes difficult. Someone who remains respectful when disagreements happen. Someone who remains loyal when challenges appear. Someone who helps you stay close to Allah when your faith becomes weak. The truth is that attraction may help two people meet, but character is what keeps them together. Beauty may capture your attention, but character determines your future. Many people spend months asking, do I love them? But very few ask, do they bring peace into my life? And that question can save someone from years of regret. Imagine waking up every morning next to someone whose presence calms your heart, someone who speaks with kindness, someone who respects you even when they disagree with you, someone who encourages you to pray, someone who reminds you to trust Allah when life becomes difficult, someone who makes your home feel peaceful instead of stressful. That kind of person is a blessing, because a peaceful home is one of the greatest gifts a person can have in this world. At the end of the day, beauty changes. Money comes and goes, feelings rise and fall, life becomes difficult. People face tests, but peace remains valuable in every season of life. So before you marry anyone, ask yourself a question that many people forget to ask. When I think about this person, do I feel closer to Allah or further away? Do I feel secure or anxious? Do I feel respected or constantly uncertain? Do I feel calm or emotionally exhausted? Do they bring peace into my life? Because beauty may attract the eyes, charm may attract the emotions, but peace is what nourishes the soul. And the person you marry should not only capture your heart, they should help protect it. Never forget this. The right person will not simply make your heart race. The right person will help your heart rest. The warning signs you excuse today may become the pain you cry over tomorrow. One of the most expensive mistakes a person can make before marriage is seeing the warning signs clearly and choosing to ignore them. Not because they do not see them, but because they do not want to see them, and there is a difference. The truth is, most people do not enter painful marriages completely blind. Very often, the signs were there from the beginning. The disrespect was there, the inconsistency was there, the dishonesty was there, the anger was there, the selfishness was there. But because emotions became involved, reality slowly became harder to accept. When the heart becomes attached, it starts making excuses for things the mind would normally reject. A person says something hurtful. You tell yourself they were just having a bad day. They break your trust. You tell yourself everyone makes mistakes. They show a lack of respect. You convince yourself they will change after marriage. They continue showing unhealthy behavior. You keep hoping that one day things will become different. And before long, you are no longer seeing the person as they are. You are seeing the person you hope they will become. That is where many people get hurt. Because marriage is not built on potential. Marriage is built on reality. You are not marrying who they might become in 5 years. You are marrying who they are today. And if you cannot accept who they are today, then you need to be very careful. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is this: marriage will change them. But marriage does not magically transform character. Marriage does not automatically make an irresponsible person responsible. Marriage does not automatically make a selfish person selfless. Marriage does not automatically make a dishonest person trustworthy. In many cases, marriage simply reveals more of what was already there. The habits you ignored before marriage often become more visible afterward. The problems you overlooked before marriage often become harder to escape later. That is why emotional attachment can be dangerous, because attachment makes people focus on what they want to see instead of what is actually there. Think about how many people have said these words: I knew the signs were there. I noticed the red flags. I felt something was wrong, but I ignored it. Those words have been spoken by countless people after years of heartbreak. Not because they were foolish, not because they were weak, but because emotions can sometimes be stronger than wisdom. That is why you must never allow your feelings to become more important than the truth. If someone constantly lies to you before marriage, do not assume honesty will suddenly appear afterward. If someone constantly disrespects you before marriage, do not assume respect will magically arrive later. If someone repeatedly shows you who they are, believe what you are seeing, because Allah often protects us through warning signs before He protects us through painful lessons. Sometimes a red flag is actually a mercy. Sometimes discomfort is guidance. Sometimes the uneasy feeling in your heart is not fear. It is wisdom trying to get your attention, and this is especially important for people who have a soft heart. Good people often believe everyone has good intentions. They want to see the best in others. They want to give second chances. They want to believe people can change. And while mercy is beautiful, wisdom is necessary. You can believe people can change while still recognizing that they have not changed yet. Those are two different things. Do not build your future on promises. Build it on patterns. Anyone can make promises. Anyone can say the right words. Anyone can tell you what you want to hear. But character is revealed through consistent actions. Watch how they treat people when they are angry. Watch how they speak about others when nobody is listening. Watch how they handle disappointment. Watch how they behave when they do not get what they want. Because those moments reveal who a person really is. Character is easiest to see when life does not go their way. And remember this, a person can pray. A person can say beautiful words. A person can appear religious. But true character is revealed by how they treat people. Their kindness, their honesty, their patience, their humility, their respect. These things matter because eventually the wedding day ends. The photographs are put away, the celebrations finish, and what remains is character. Character is what you wake up next to every morning. Character is what enters your home every day. Character is what shapes the atmosphere of a marriage. That is why one good character trait is often worth more than 100 attractive qualities. Before you marry anyone, do not ask only, how do I feel about them? Ask something deeper. How do they treat people? How do they react when life becomes difficult? How do they behave when nobody is watching? What patterns do I consistently see? Because feelings can be misleading, words can be misleading, promises can be misleading, but patterns rarely lie. Never forget this. The warning signs you excuse today may become the tears you cry over tomorrow, and the wisdom you listen to today may save you from years of regret later. Allah does not always protect people by removing the wrong person immediately. Sometimes He protects them by showing them the signs and giving them the choice to pay attention. The question is not whether the signs are there. The question is whether you are willing to see them. The person you marry will either strengthen your faith or slowly weaken it. Before you marry someone, there is a question that is far more important than how attractive they are. A question that is more important than how successful they are. A question that is more important than how much you enjoy talking to them. The question is this: what kind of person will I become if I spend the next 20, 30, or 40 years with them? Most people think marriage is about finding the right person. But marriage is also about becoming a certain kind of person, because whether you realize it or not, the people closest to you shape you. Their habits influence your habits. Their priorities influence your priorities. Their mindset influences your mindset, and over time, their way of living begins to affect your way of living. Think about it. If you spend years around someone who constantly complains, eventually negativity starts affecting you. If you spend years around someone who is grateful, gratitude starts affecting you too. If you spend years around someone who values prayer, faith, and obedience to Allah, those things become easier for you as well. Human beings influence each other more than they realize. That is why choosing a spouse is one of the most important decisions you will ever make, because you are not simply choosing a companion. You are choosing an influence. You are choosing the voice that you will hear more than almost anyone else. You are choosing the person who will be beside you during your strongest moments and your weakest moments. And that influence can either pull you closer to Allah or slowly pull you away from Him. Sometimes the change is obvious, but often it is very gradual. A person does not wake up one morning completely different. The change happens little by little, day by day, conversation by conversation, habit by habit, choice by choice, and years later, they realize they have become someone completely different from who they once were. That is why you must pay attention to what a person's relationship with Allah looks like before marriage, because what they value today will likely influence your home tomorrow. If they value prayer today, prayer will likely have a place in your home tomorrow. If they value honesty today, honesty will likely have a place in your home tomorrow. If they value modesty today, modesty will likely have a place in your home tomorrow. If they value Allah today, Allah will likely have a place in your home tomorrow. Many people focus so much on finding someone who makes them happy that they forget to ask whether that person helps them become better. And there is a big difference between those two things, because not everyone who makes you happy is good for your future. Some people can make you feel loved while slowly damaging your faith. Some people can make you feel special while distracting you from what truly matters. Some people can make you feel emotionally attached while pulling your heart away from Allah. And that is a dangerous trade, because no relationship is worth losing your connection with your Creator. Imagine for a moment that life becomes difficult. Imagine financial problems appear. Imagine sickness enters your home. Imagine stress becomes overwhelming. Imagine you go through a season where your faith feels weak. What kind of spouse do you want beside you during those moments? Do you want someone who complains with you? or someone who reminds you to trust Allah? Do you want someone who increases your fear, or someone who increases your faith? Do you want someone who helps you focus only on this world, or someone who reminds you that this world is temporary? Those moments reveal the true value of a righteous spouse, because a righteous spouse is not simply someone who loves you. A righteous spouse helps you remember Allah when you are forgetting Him. They help you stand when you feel weak. They help you stay patient when life becomes difficult. They help protect your heart from becoming lost. And that is one of the greatest gifts Allah can give a person. Many people dream about finding someone beautiful. Many dream about finding someone wealthy. Many dream about finding someone successful. But the greatest blessing is finding someone whose presence helps you become closer to Allah. Someone who reminds you to pray. Someone who encourages good character. Someone who helps you grow spiritually. Someone who makes Jannah feel more important than worldly approval. Because beauty will change, youth will change, money can disappear, health can disappear. Life itself can change overnight. But a spouse who sincerely helps you get closer to Allah remains a blessing through every season of life. And perhaps this is the question every person should ask before marriage. When I spend time with this person, what happens to my relationship with Allah? Do I feel stronger in my faith? Do I feel inspired to become better? Do I feel encouraged to obey Allah? Or do I find myself becoming careless, more distracted, more distant from my purpose? The answer to that question can reveal more about your future than almost anything else. Because marriage is not only about who walks beside you in this life, it is about who helps you reach the next life. Never forget this. The person you marry will influence your thoughts, your habits, your priorities, your home, your children, and ultimately, the direction of your journey toward Allah. So before you marry someone, do not ask only whether they are good for your heart. Ask whether they are good for your soul. Ask whether they are helping you move closer to Allah. Because the greatest marriages are not built by two people who are simply in love. They are built by two people who are helping each other reach Jannah. Never let loneliness decide who deserves access to your heart. Loneliness is one of the most powerful feelings a human being can experience. It can make a strong person feel weak. It can make a patient person feel desperate. And if a person is not careful, loneliness can push them toward decisions they would never make with a clear mind. This is why one of the most dangerous reasons to get married is simply because you are tired of being alone. Because loneliness has a way of changing how you see people. It can make ordinary attention feel like extraordinary love. It can make basic kindness feel like destiny. It can make the wrong person seem like the answer to all your problems. When someone has been waiting a long time for marriage, they often become emotionally exhausted. They watch friends get married. They see happy couples online. They attend wedding after wedding. They hear relatives asking questions. They hear people saying, "When are you getting married? Why are you still single? Don't wait too long." And slowly, the pressure begins to grow. The loneliness begins to grow. The fear begins to grow. Not because they are weak, but because they are human. Every human being wants companionship. Every human being wants love. Every human being wants someone to share life with. There is nothing wrong with that. The problem begins when the desire becomes so strong that it starts controlling your decisions. Because once desperation enters the heart, wisdom often leaves the room. Suddenly standards begin to disappear. Things that once seemed important no longer seem important. Warning signs become easier to ignore. Red flags become easier to excuse. And a person starts convincing themselves that almost anyone is better than being alone. That is where many people get hurt, because the fear of loneliness has pushed countless people into relationships that brought even greater loneliness later. Think about that for a moment. Many people are afraid of being alone. Yet some of the loneliest people in the world are married. Because being married does not automatically remove loneliness. Being married to the wrong person can create a loneliness that feels even deeper. Imagine sharing a home with someone who does not understand you. Imagine sitting beside someone, but still feeling emotionally abandoned. Imagine spending years trying to earn love, attention, and respect from the person who was supposed to give it freely. That kind of loneliness hurts far more than being single. Because at least when you are single, there is still peace. There is still freedom. There is still hope. But when someone chooses the wrong person out of desperation, they often exchange temporary loneliness for long-term pain. This is why Allah sometimes delays things, and many people struggle to understand that. They think the delay means Allah has forgotten them. They think the delay means something is wrong with them. They think the delay means they are being left behind. But what if the delay is actually protection? What if Allah is protecting your future from a relationship that would have broken your peace? What if Allah is protecting your heart from someone who would have distracted you from Him? What if Allah is protecting you from years of regret that you cannot yet see? The truth is, we often become impatient because we only see the present moment. But Allah sees the entire journey. He sees what is hidden. He sees what is coming. He sees the conversations you have not had yet, the heartbreaks you have not experienced yet, the mistakes you have not made yet, and His timing is always wiser than our emotions. That is why you should never allow loneliness to convince you that something is better than nothing, because not every relationship is a blessing. Some relationships are lessons, some relationships are tests, and some relationships are distractions from the path Allah intended for you. One of the most beautiful things a person can learn before marriage is this: your future spouse is not your savior. They are not meant to rescue you from every feeling of sadness. They are not meant to fill every empty space in your heart. They are not meant to become the center of your existence. Only Allah deserves that place. And when people expect another human being to fill a space that only Allah can fill, disappointment becomes inevitable. No person can carry that weight. No person can meet every emotional need. No person can provide the peace that only Allah can provide. That is why true emotional health begins before marriage, not after it. The healthiest marriages are often built by people who learned how to find peace with Allah before they found a spouse. People who learned how to be grateful before marriage, patient before marriage, emotionally balanced before marriage. Because they do not enter marriage desperate to be completed. They enter marriage ready to share a complete trust in Allah. And there is a huge difference. Many people say, "I just want someone," but that is the wrong question. The question is not whether someone is available. The question is whether they are right for your future, because one wrong decision can affect years of your life. So before you allow loneliness to guide your heart, stop and ask yourself something honestly. Am I choosing this person because they are truly good for me? Or am I choosing them because I am tired of waiting? Am I seeing who they really are? Or am I simply afraid of being alone? Those questions can save a person from years of regret. Never forget this. Being single is not a problem that needs to be solved immediately. It is simply a season of life. And every season has a purpose. Use this season to grow. Use this season to strengthen your relationship with Allah. Use this season to become the person you hope your future spouse will be. Because when the right person arrives, you will not need to lower your standards to keep them. You will not need to ignore warning signs. You will not need to force what Allah did not write. And when that day comes, you will be grateful that loneliness never got the final say over your future. Remember this beautiful truth. A delayed blessing is still a blessing, and it is always better to wait for what Allah has written than to rush towards something He never intended for you. Never let loneliness choose who deserves access to your heart. Let wisdom choose. Let faith choose. And most importantly, let Allah choose. Real love feels safe, clear, and consistent, not confusing. One of the most damaging lies many people believe before marriage is that confusion is a sign of love. They believe that if someone keeps them guessing, the connection must be special. If someone is difficult to understand, they must be valuable. If someone is hard to get, they must be worth chasing. And if the relationship feels emotionally exhausting, it must mean the feelings are deep. But that is not love. That is confusion. And confusion has broken more hearts than rejection ever could. The truth is, many people spend years chasing people who never gave them the peace they were searching for. They spend years analyzing messages, years waiting for replies, years wondering what the other person really feels, years hoping things will become clear. And the saddest part is that they often call this love. But love was never supposed to feel like a daily emotional battle. Think about it. How much time do some people spend overthinking one person? They replay conversations in their minds. They examine every word, every text message, every small action. They spend hours trying to understand mixed signals. One day the person seems interested. The next day they seem distant. One day they make promises. The next day they disappear. One day they make you feel important. The next day they make you feel invisible. And because your heart is attached, you keep hoping things will improve. You keep waiting for clarity. You keep waiting for certainty. You keep waiting for consistency. But real love does not force you to spend years searching for certainty. Real love is not a puzzle that needs to be solved every day. Real love is not a constant guessing game. Real love does not make you question your worth. It does not make you wonder whether you are enough. It does not make you feel like you must earn basic respect. When someone genuinely values you, their actions begin to match their words. Their intentions become clear. Their behavior becomes consistent. Their respect becomes visible. You do not have to constantly chase answers because their character provides them. One of the clearest signs of an unhealthy relationship is emotional instability. Your happiness rises and falls depending on how one person treats you. If they give attention, you feel secure. If they pull away, you feel anxious. If they respond, you feel hopeful. If they ignore you, you feel worthless. And before long, your emotional well-being becomes controlled by another human being. That is not healthy love. That is emotional dependence. And emotional dependence often disguises itself as romance. Many people think they are in love, when in reality, they are addicted to the emotional highs and lows of uncertainty. They become attached to the chase, attached to the hope, attached to the possibility, attached to the fantasy they have created in their minds. But marriage cannot survive on fantasies. Marriage survives on reality, and reality requires consistency. Because eventually life becomes difficult, there will be challenges, stress, responsibilities, disagreements, unexpected hardships. And during those moments, you need someone whose character remains steady. Not someone whose commitment changes with their mood. Not someone whose respect disappears during conflict. Not someone who only loves you when life is easy. A strong marriage requires emotional safety. It requires trust. It requires reliability. It requires knowing that the person beside you means what they say and says what they mean. Imagine living every day with someone who constantly leaves you confused. Someone whose actions never match their promises. Someone who keeps you emotionally uncertain. That uncertainty slowly drains a person's peace. It creates anxiety. It creates insecurity. It creates emotional exhaustion. Now imagine something different. Imagine waking up every day knowing where you stand. Imagine being with someone whose words are honest, whose intentions are sincere, whose respect is consistent, whose effort does not disappear when things become difficult. Someone who communicates clearly. Someone who values your feelings. Someone who protects your heart instead of constantly testing it. That kind of love feels different. It feels calm. It feels secure. It feels safe. And safety is one of the most beautiful gifts a spouse can provide. Many people spend years looking for excitement, but the older and wiser they become, the more they realize something important. Peace is more valuable than excitement. Consistency is more valuable than intensity. Character is more valuable than charm, because charm can attract you, but character sustains you. Charm can impress you, but character protects you. Charm can make a wonderful first impression, but character determines whether a marriage survives difficult years. This is why before marriage you should pay attention to patterns, not promises. Anyone can promise commitment. Anyone can promise loyalty. Anyone can promise a beautiful future. But consistency reveals truth. Watch how they behave over time. Watch how they treat you when they are stressed. Watch how they communicate when they are upset. Watch how they handle disagreements. Because those moments reveal the kind of spouse they will become. And remember this, the right person will not leave you feeling emotionally drained every day. The right person will not make you beg for attention. The right person will not force you to constantly question your value. The right person will not make you chase what should be freely given. That does not mean they will be perfect. No human being is perfect. No relationship is perfect. Every marriage will face challenges. Every marriage will require patience. Every marriage will require forgiveness. But there is a difference between normal challenges and constant confusion. There is a difference between occasional misunderstandings and a relationship built on uncertainty. And that difference matters. Before you marry someone, ask yourself honestly, do they bring clarity into my life? Do they bring stability into my life? Do they bring peace into my life? Or do they constantly bring confusion? Because confusion often feels exciting in the beginning, but clarity is what creates lasting peace. And peace is one of the greatest blessings Allah can place inside a marriage. Never forget this. Real love does not leave you constantly wondering where you stand. Real love feels safe. Real love feels clear. Real love feels consistent. And the right person will not make you spend your life chasing certainty. They will help your heart finally find it. Don't look for a perfect spouse. Look for a heart that wants Jannah with you. Perhaps the biggest mistake many people make before marriage is believing that somewhere in the world there is a perfect person waiting for them. A person with no flaws, no weaknesses, no bad habits, no difficult days, no shortcomings. Someone who will always understand them, always agree with them, always make them happy, always know the right thing to say. And because they are searching for perfection, they often become disappointed with reality. But the truth is simple. The perfect spouse does not exist, because perfect people do not exist. Every human being has flaws. Every human being makes mistakes. Every human being struggles with something. Every human being has moments of weakness, including you, including me, including every married couple you have ever admired. The strongest marriages in the world are not built by perfect people. They are built by two imperfect people who choose each other again and again for the sake of Allah. That is what makes a marriage beautiful, not perfection. Commitment, not perfection. Mercy, not perfection. Patience, not perfection. Growth. Many people spend so much time asking, "Is this person perfect for me?" that they forget to ask a much more important question. Does this person sincerely want to reach Jannah with me? Because that single question can reveal more about your future than almost anything else. Think about it. Beauty changes, youth changes, money changes, health changes, circumstances change, life itself changes. The person you marry today will not be exactly the same person 20 years from now, and neither will you. There will be days of happiness, days of sadness, days of success, days of hardship, moments when life feels easy, moments when life feels overwhelming. The question is not whether difficulties will come, they will. The question is who will be standing beside you when they do. When life becomes difficult, will this person bring you closer to Allah or further away from Him? When your faith becomes weak, will they remind you of Allah? When you make mistakes, will they help you grow? When you fall, will they help you stand again? Because that is what a righteous spouse does. A righteous spouse is not someone who never disappoints you. A righteous spouse is someone who keeps helping you move toward Allah, despite your imperfections in their own. Many people enter marriage expecting to receive happiness. But the strongest marriages are built by people asking a different question. Not, what can I get from this marriage? But, what can I give to this marriage? That shift changes everything. Because when two people are focused only on receiving, disappointment grows quickly. But when two people are focused on serving, helping, supporting, and pleasing Allah, the marriage becomes stronger. This is why marriage in Islam is so much deeper than romance. It is not simply about emotions. It is not simply about attraction. It is not simply about companionship. It is a partnership in worship, a partnership in growth, a partnership in patience, a partnership in helping each other reach Jannah. Imagine spending your life with someone who reminds you to pray when you forget, someone who makes dua for you when you are struggling, someone who encourages you when your faith feels weak, someone who reminds you of Allah when the world becomes overwhelming, someone who wants to see you succeed not only in this life but also in the next. That is a priceless blessing, because one day something remarkable will happen. Your beauty will fade, your strength will fade, your youth will fade, your possessions will stay behind, your achievements will stay behind. Even the wedding day that once felt so important will become a distant memory, but what will remain are the deeds you carried to Allah. And imagine how beautiful it would be to stand before Allah knowing that your spouse helped you become a better believer, knowing they encouraged you to pray, encouraged you to be patient, encouraged you to trust Allah, encouraged you to become a better version of yourself. That is a marriage worth searching for. The reality is that every marriage will face storms. Every marriage will experience misunderstandings. Every marriage will experience disappointment at times. But when two people share the same ultimate destination, they find reasons to keep growing together. Because they understand something important. The goal was never perfection. The goal was always Jannah. That is why before you marry someone, do not become obsessed with finding a flawless person. Instead, look for a sincere heart, a humble heart, a loyal heart, a patient heart, a heart that fears Allah, a heart that wants to obey Allah, a heart that wants to build a home where Allah is remembered, because those qualities create something far more valuable than perfection ever could. They create a marriage that survives difficult seasons. They create a marriage built on faith. They create a marriage built on mercy. They create a marriage built on purpose. And purpose is what keeps people together long after emotions rise and fall. So before you marry anyone, ask yourself one final question. Can I imagine walking toward Allah with this person? Can I imagine building a home that helps both of us grow closer to Him? Can I imagine standing before Allah one day grateful that this person was part of my journey? Because the greatest marriage is not the one that impresses people. It is not the one that receives the most compliments. It is not the one that looks perfect from the outside. The greatest marriage is the one that helps two imperfect people reach Jannah together. Never forget this. Do not look for someone who is perfect. Look for someone whose heart sincerely wants Allah. Because when two hearts are sincerely trying to reach Allah together, they can overcome almost anything this world places in front of them. Before we end, I want you to remember one thing. Marriage is one of the biggest decisions you will ever make. It can bring incredible peace into your life, or it can become a source of pain that follows you for years. That is why Allah never asks us to rush. He asks us to seek wisdom, to make dua, to trust Him, and to choose with both our heart and our faith. If you take nothing else from this reminder, take this. Do not marry someone simply because they are attractive. Do not marry someone simply because you are lonely. Do not marry someone simply because time is passing. And do not marry someone simply because your emotions are strong. Marry someone who brings peace to your heart. Someone whose character remains beautiful when life becomes difficult. Someone who helps you remember Allah when the world makes you forget. Someone who wants Jannah just as much as they want this dunya. Because the right spouse is not the person who makes your life perfect. The right spouse is the person who helps you stay close to Allah through every imperfect season of life. And if you are still waiting for marriage, do not lose hope. Allah knows every tear you have cried, every dua you have whispered, every lonely night, every moment you wondered if your time would ever come. Trust Him, because what Allah writes for you will never miss you. And what misses you was never written for you. So continue making dua, continue improving yourself, continue strengthening your relationship with Allah, and trust that when the right time comes, Allah can change your entire life with a single decree. If this reminder benefited you, then take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And tell me in the comments, what is the one quality you believe matters most in a future spouse? I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you know someone who is thinking about marriage, send this reminder to them. It may help them make a decision that changes their future. May Allah bless you with wisdom before every decision, peace in every season of life, and a spouse who brings you closer to Him, not further away. May Allah protect your heart from the wrong person, guide you toward what is best, and bless your future marriage with mercy, love, tranquility, and faith. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before you go, subscribe to Deenpedia for more Islamic reminders that strengthen your faith, heal your heart, and bring you closer to Allah. Like this video, share it with someone preparing for marriage, and leave a comment saying, Ya Allah, guide me to what is best for my dunya and my ahira.